Welcome back to How This Mom Does It, and today I'm going to be sharing with you how I plan our homeschool using a spreadsheet planner. If you're interested in seeing how I plan our homeschool year, stay tuned. So this is probably one of my most requested videos. And today I'm going to be walking you through my homeschool planner. This video will show my planner for my daughter who is doing 2nd/3rd grade this year. I'll be doing a separate video showing my lesson planner for my TK/kindergartner as well. His planner is slightly different, so there are some main pieces that are the same, but how the weekly lesson plans look is just a little bit different. I'll also be doing a tutorial video on how to create your own spreadsheet planner if you're interested in learning how to make your own. I do plan to make my planners available on my website, available for download if you're interested, and I'll probably have one version with my plans on it so you can see what it would look like completed, and then one blank one that you could fill in if you'd like to. When they're available, I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description box below. So I have noticed that a lot of people use some kind of paper planner or a spreadsheet style that's printed and then filled in by hand. So if that's what you have and that works for you, that's great. I'm not saying that there's any one way to lesson plan or my way is any better. That's just how this mom does it. I actually started with a planner book that I bought from a school supply store, and it just didn't work for me. I shopped around, I looked at a bunch of other planners, and after a while, I just came to the conclusion that a perfect planner just wasn't out there for me. It just didn't exist. So if I really wanted to get the most out of a planner, I would just need to make one myself, and so that's what I did. I've always been more of a spreadsheet person. That's just how I am. So it made sense to me that I would plan our homeschool with a spreadsheet. That just made sense. There was a little bit of trial and error in the beginning on the format, at least in the first year. But after a couple changes, I've actually been pretty happy with it ever since, and the structure and the style and the layout has basically stayed the same. Now, I have noticed that there are several benefits from doing a spreadsheet planner on the computer. It's made planning quick and easy for me. I can make changes easily, and I don't have to erase or white things out. There really is no cost other than if I choose to print a couple pages out. I can print just the pages I need to share with our charter school, or if I need to share like 1 week's lesson with my husband, if he's going to be covering me for science or something like that, then I can do that. I can also email it. I can store it. I basically save it in my Google Drive so I can access it anywhere from my phone, and it's basically always with me. And if there was ever any kind of disaster or anything, I basically always have that because it's in my Google Drive. So those are some definite benefits to that. And I can also make my plans for the next year pretty quickly and easily because I have this year's format. I basically copy and paste it and then just fill in the differences. And with my daughter being ahead, I save her lesson plans and then I can reuse them for my son when he gets to that grade. I actually have a folder in my Google Drive for each grade, and I save the lesson plan for that year as well as all the printables that go along with it. I will save in the same folder. So basically I have, say, 2nd grade, and that's all complete. So when it's his turn, I can just open up the spreadsheet and make any changes that are needed. Another benefit, and one of the main reasons why I started to really detail out my lesson plans was because I wanted to add in the assigned reading because we really weren't getting the most out of all of the books that we have. And by having the assigned reading list actually in my planner, we actually read most, if not all, of all the great books and resources that I've gathered. And that's my ultimate goal. I really want to enrich our homeschool experience. So by having it all laid out, we really get the most out of what we have. Also, I found that if it's written down, we're more likely to do it. So for us, at least, the more detail, the better. And that's why I'm pretty specific on my lesson plans. Now, that being said, even though I'm pretty specific on my lesson plans, I do know that life life happens, and there have been many times that I've had to change things around, and because it's on the computer, I can quickly move things, change things. If we get sick or activities come up, I adjust the lessons, and it's no big deal. So with all that being said, let's take a closer look at my planner. So starting at the top, I have the title of the spreadsheet, and each child's is different. So for my daughter, it's 2nd/3rd grade because she's doing a combo this year. Grade lesson plans, 2017-2018. For my son, it would be TK/kindergartner or kindergarten lesson plans 2017-2018. So that's how I title them. And then down at the bottom, you'll see all the different tabs. The first tab is my curriculum list, and that is all the different pieces of curriculum that I'm using for that year for that specific child, so also known as our course of study. I have a column on the side for the abbreviations. So in my weekly lesson plan, sometimes I abbreviate different pieces of curriculum, like for Zane or Blozer, I'll say ZB just to save space. So I have the key on the side so you can see what my abbreviations are. I have the sheet formatted so it's easily printable. So if we ever need to share or show somebody what our curriculum is, I can easily print it. And all the rest of the tabs below are formatted for printing as well. So I'll give you a quick peek at what our curriculum list looks like. And these are just the main pieces of curriculum. This isn't the extra books or resources, just the main pieces of curriculum that we're using for the year. And I do also include PE as well, and Bible and character, our language and logic, that type of thing. The next tab is my themes tab. And that is really important in my planning process for the year. I use this list to sort my read alouds, my independent readers, my shared reading, 5-in-a-row books, theme picture books by month, basically everything. So if you've ever watched some of my other videos, you've probably seen one of my monthly book list videos. This is how I develop those book lists. It's also how I choose and schedule our crafts that we do, like our art projects, our craftivities where we do writing and art together, trips that we go on that are aside from just scheduled field trips, are my YouTube playlist with educational videos. We use that a lot. The songs that we sing about different things, even like virtual field trips. So anything like that is usually planned around a theme for the month. So the themes list is really important. This is what my theme list looks like. I actually have this available for download on my website. If you'd like to download it, it's available for free. And but you can make your own. Everyone's themes could potentially be different. There's so many different themes you could do per month out there. These are just ones that we like and work for us. If there's one that has like a specific day, like Johnny Appleseed's birthday or Constitution Day, I will write the date on there and need to be aware to change it if the date changes every year. Some change and some don't. So I just have to be aware of that and change it out if need be. But give you a quick peek of what my themes list looks like. And again, this is printable as well. So the next tab is my literature book lists. And this has my read alouds, my 5-in-a-row books, my independent readers, all listed by month and loosely organized by theme. Once the books are entered here, I just copy and paste the books into the appropriate box of my lesson plan. I don't need to retype anything, so that's really nice. And I copy and paste these book lists that are appropriate into my son's spreadsheet as well, so I don't retype for his spreadsheet either. So once I've entered a book once, that's it. I don't enter it again. And I'll go ahead and scroll down and show you pretty much how I've divided up the different lists. So if you go across in the rows, you can see per month some of the different books that we're reading. And then I even have my summer list. So some of these look pretty long, like December, for instance. I have quite a few books to choose from that I'm trying to fit in. But if for some reason we don't get to these, that's okay. I just save them for next year and we'll read them next year. Or if it's something that I can push to summer reading, I'll add them to our summer reading list down here below. If for some reason we run out of books and we just say go through all the books in May, then I'll just pick one of the books from the summer reading list and bump it up if we need an extra book. And then the next tab is my history and science. And these are all of the books that I want to incorporate and add into our history and science lessons. So as I'm adding our history and science assignments to my weekly lesson plan, I'll choose from these lists of books as well and add them onto my weekly lesson plans, and usually into the subject that I'm going to be coordinating them with. So, and then once I've done that, I'll highlight off here. So for instance, if I entered in volcanoes, I'll usually highlight that off just so I know that I've used that book. And then that way I don't try and re-enter it again or think I need to use it when I haven't. And then the next tab starts our weekly lesson plans. So as you can see here at the bottom, I've got week 1, 2, 3, 4. And I group them into 4-week blocks, unless there is a holiday mixed in there. Like say December, I think it's usually 3 weeks in that reporting period. So we do go through a charter. So we meet with our school every once a reporting period, and it's usually about once every 4 weeks is what it kind of works out to be. So that's how I have our work blocked off down here. So weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, and then reporting period number 1. And I'll show you real quick what a week looks like and then show you what the reporting period looks like. So this is, for instance, week 1. At the top left-hand corner, I have what week it is, and then I'll have the date. So I don't have that completed yet because I'm still getting my calendar together, but it's going to be August. I'm pretty sure it's going to be like August 14th or 15th, something like that, whatever the date ends up being. So I'll add that there. So when I print this sheet, because it is printable, I'll get the whole spreadsheet on one page. I have it formatted that way so it prints as one page, and it will say the week number and the date at the top, so I can organize the sheets when I take them to meet with our charter. So on the side, left-hand side here, you can see all the subjects written down. And then at the top, I have the days of the week, how many days of the week. So like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. And then in each section, I have all the different pieces of curriculum we're going to be covering that week. For instance, like Zane or Bloser, I don't have that book yet, so I haven't written in the page numbers yet. But as soon as I get that, I'll add in and start filling in those sections. But I have it blocked off, so I know that I need to fill in that section. Now, I get a lot of questions on their reading and literature. So I'll go over that really quickly. RA, for instance, is my read aloud for the week that we're going to be reading. So you can see it's the same every day. Now, a lot of our read alouds we do in our cars, so a lot of them are audiobooks. And I have that designated on the literature book list where it's color coded. But here, basically, I just have it listed as a read aloud. But this way I know for the week that I need to have that available on my phone for when we're in the car, because we use audible.com for a lot of our read alouds. So by looking at that, I know that I need to have, say, Goonie Bird Green on my phone so we can listen to it that week. And then I have her independent reader, all the themed picture books we're going to be reading, and then if there's a 5 in a row book. In my son's list, it looks a little bit different. He also has the read alouds and the themed picture books, but instead of the independent reading, his says 5 in a row, and it'll have the 5 in a row book every single day of the week, and that's what he'll be reading instead of an independent reader. And for anything that in the spreadsheet is something that we read, I usually do it in italics, and that just makes it stand out to me so I can see that that is a book rather than something I need to pull work-wise as I'm pulling work for the next day. So like say it's Monday night and I'm looking at what we're going to be doing on Tuesday, I can easily see that these are just going to be books I need to pull out and have ready, but I'm going to need to make sure I have her grammar minutes out, her math mammoth pulled out and on our clipboard or in our work binder. So it just makes it a lot easier. And then I also bold the books that she's reading independently. So then I know that I don't have to worry about reading them to both of my kids or anything like that. I can just give her her stack of books and send her off to her room to read them, and then we discuss them afterwards. And she does read at like a 4th grade level, so she's pretty much independent reading a lot of her work, and that's really helpful. In the spreadsheet, I also have, like I was talking about with the history and science books, for instance, for science for week 1, I have our elemental science work here, but we're going to be starting like the study of the earth. So one of the suggested books for elemental science was the Magic School Bus Inside the Earth, and I actually had that book. So I went ahead and put it there to make sure that we read it that week. And then say, for instance, week 4, we're learning about volcanoes that week in elemental science. So I pulled out my volcano books and entered them in there so we don't forget to read them. So that's how I incorporate the history and science books. I haven't finished all my history yet to show how it's all plugged in, but they do it the exact same way. So you can see what it's going to look like once it's all filled in. At the bottom of my spreadsheet, I have a space for extras. So I do also have like our character and our Bible. If we're doing geography songs, anything like that. I have our character that we're going to be working on, our life skills that we're going to be working on. Any crafts I add in, like our back to school craft, our All About Me craftivity that we're going to do. I add those in there. And then I also have space for our extras, and I don't have our schedule all set up, but say for instance we're going to do a tumbling class on Monday. I would just put tumbling class and enter in there. If I was doing choir, I would put choir under, say we're doing choir on Tuesday, I would put choir here on Tuesday for music. And then if it is an outside of the house activity, I do highlight that in a color, and I usually like blue. This is my preference. But I would highlight it just so it's a visual that I can see we're out of the house that day with something, or more than one. Sometimes I'll have several of these highlighted. Then I can see I maybe need to move some of this work over because we're not going to get all that done if we're not in the house. We do a lot in the car, but some of it, like especially math, is something that I need to make sure we save time for. So we would maybe move some of science, say, into a different day to give us more time with like math and writing in the house if we're going to have a lot of activities that day. Now, in the activities section, I also include things like field trips, co-ops, contests that we're in for our school. Like if we were in the science fair, I would put activities there, spelling bee, anything like that. If it's appropriate though to the subject, so say for science fair, I would probably put science in the science section under that day, just as I did PE. But say if it's just a field trip to like the zoo, I may just put that down here. And that's basically how I use that. I do have this section down in this bottom area, and when I print it off, this is usually blank. But if I need to add anything, like any questions I have, any holidays, notes, anything I'm trying to plan and still working on, I'll add that down here so I don't forget. And after the 4th week in the tabs is the reporting period tab, and that changes. So like this is reporting period 1, there'll be reporting period 2 the next time. And that is where I list all of our books for that specific reporting period. So for that 4-week block, those are the books that we're reading. I have listed all of our themed picture books, all of our read alouds, our independent readers, our shared reading, everything. So all of that is listed in that section. And that is the basic format. It continues on from there, as you can see at the bottom. It keeps going on all the way to the end of the school year. And that's basically it. Now, it probably looks like a lot of work, a lot of typing. But once you get it entered in, and especially the books, once the books are entered in and the basic spreadsheet outline was finished, I just basically copy and paste. So it's really, really quick, and it's easy to make the changes. And then I just have to add in like the specific page numbers or any holidays or any activities or crafts that we're working through or anything like that. And that is my homeschool lesson planner. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll try and answer as many of them as I can. If there's something that you would like to see that I didn't cover, please let me know. I will be posting a quick overview of my TK/kindergartner's lesson plan spreadsheet as well, because it is a little bit different. And then I'll also have a tutorial on how you can create your own lesson planner on a spreadsheet if you'd like to see that. And you can, as soon as I have those uploaded, I will link them below in the comments. You can check out the videos I have for how I organize all of our work in the work binders, and then the video on how I organize everything in the work carts. And I will leave links to those videos below as well. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did like this video, don't forget to click like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. And I will see you next time.